I sat down here today actually to do a video over Monster Hunter Wild's new title update, but when I sat down, I kind of had an epiphany that I'd rather talk about failure. Hi, I'm McAllister DIY, and today I want to talk about failure, and while I do so, you can watch, boom, this video here of me fighting Zoshia, the new hardest boss in Monster Hunters, and fun fact, I failed this quest. At the moment, I was kind of upset about failing it, but I think in reality, it was a good thing, and that's what I kind of want to talk about, which is that I sit down to play games. I'm lucky enough to have a lot of free time in which to do that because of my job. Not a lot of people have that time, so when they sit down, I don't think they want to see a lost screen. They want to spend more time playing the game. But for me, I think the you died or quest failed screen in games, that failed state, is really important to people's growth and having a good time. And I think that a lot of people treat that failed screen, the gray screen in League of Legends, or any sort of punishment for not having performed your best, as something to just be upset about, whatever, and move on. And I don't think that you need to be spending your time in video games grinding to become the best player you can. But I think that if you spend your days playing Call of Duty and that's something you enjoy, then that's great. And when you play Warzone, if that's your cup of tea, you're going to spend a lot of time losing. And if you spend that time dying and thinking, wow, the HK-47, that's a droid from Star Wars, not a gun, the AK-47 is such a busted weapon, then I think you've just engaged in a failed behavior and in a true devastating blow to your growth. Because I think that if you spend your free time blaming things externally for your loss, when you die, it was your support's fault. When you don't get the weapon, it's because your teammate stole it. And when you didn't succeed, it's because the game lagged. Maybe those are true in some cases, but I think in every instance where you've lost, you've contributed. I don't remember where I heard it, but I know I heard it during times when I was playing League of Legends and someone was giving advice, and they said the phrase, the only common denominator in every game that you've lost is that you were in it. And when I heard that, it kind of sunk in that that's very true. There was a study, if you want to call it, done. Activision or Call of Duty, some of the devs, they turned off skill-based matchmaking, which is a feature that tries to match you with similarly skilled players. And the results of it were everyone complaining online that the game got too difficult or things, they just didn't like it. And the end kind of result of that was the knowledge that the players that you match with and the teammates that you have are the teammates you deserve, for better or worse. So in multiplayer games, a lot of the times when you reach that failed state, defeat, in Marvel Rivals or Game Over, whatever game you're playing, that people tend to look at it, and then if they've lost, a lot of times they'll blame their teammates. There's few times where you'll have an exceptionally poor game and you'll blame yourself because you had lag, because you just weren't playing, or maybe you were just a little buzzed and enjoying the night. You didn't care if you won or lost. That's totally fine. But I think people tend to externalize the reasons that everything went poorly rather than internalize them and try to develop a skill. And I think if during your fun time you blame things, it's not the item I had, it's because the champion they picked, it's because the player played in a not fun way. In fighting games, they call this the Scrub Lord's Prayer. Because fighting games are solely one-on-one, any loss is truly to blame only on you. You'd learn as you play that you could have control of every action if you just knew a little more. And like a game of chess, you can't suddenly look around to the people near you and say, it's your fault, I moved my bishop. The Scrub Lord's Prayer is a joke that this is what they say to themselves because they can't acknowledge that it was their fault they lost. It goes as follows. My controls weren't working, and if they weren't, you were playing dishonorably. And if you weren't, then you were playing without skill. And if you were, then it's not fun to play that way. And if it is, you only care about winning. This Scrub Lord's Prayer is just the distillation of the idea of it's not my fault I lost. And I think that that just changes to where life rolls you over. You have your car break down because you didn't change the oil, and it's because the oil didn't get changed that it broke down. But when you tell people the engine exploded because the oil was bad, you don't tell them that the engine exploded because I failed 7 months in a row, 8 months in a row, 9 months, a year, 2 years in a row to ever check in my car. And why didn't I? Well, because it was not my fault the car broke. The oil was bad. If it was a better car, it wouldn't have done that. If I had more time, I would have done that. These things that you're saying you didn't have time, but if you're playing video games, you had time. There's this infantilizing speech in which people just don't believe that they are responsible for it because the world's so difficult right now. And there's a certain level at which madness belongs to the universe around you, and a certain level that you're accountable to try to fix it yourself. There are things out of your control, but you can always control how you react to it. It may be hard and it may be something to work on. Not everyone's built with the ability to not raise their voice. Not everyone's built with the ability to not get angry when someone cuts them off in traffic. But it's about seeing those moments, and if your first thought is, that guy's an idiot, what is he doing? And then you forget those times that you were just on your phone trying to make sure someone knew you were on the way because you're running late, and you accidentally maybe stopped at a yellow when you should have gone through it, or you've done things wrong in your car and you seem to forget those times the moment someone else on the road has done something. Your video game time is a very good time to develop your self-talk about failure and about getting better, so that when you fail the next time, you burn your mac and cheese because you left it on the stove too long, you don't think, the stove was way too hot, the stove's broken. Maybe you left it on too long. Oh, the microwave must have burned it. Maybe you zoned out and didn't realize you pressed the button for 7 minutes, not 6. These times where you have so much time to fail in a safe environment, you can push through it, learn from it, and then change the way you talk to yourself. Because in the end, how you talk to yourself is how you'll probably treat yourself. So I think failure is very important, and a game without it is a lot like a participation trophy to me. They can be fun, but it's not much of a game if you can't lose. And if you can't fail, I don't think you'll learn as well, because every time you've done something well, you can look at it and be proud. But every time you failed, you can look at it and learn. And I think those failures are awesome. The last little anecdote I'll add on here was that I once heard a story, and I don't know if it was true or not, about an uncle or grandpa who used to always ask the kids whenever he'd see them, they'd get back from school and they were younger, and he would always say, "Hey, what'd you all do today?" And they'd be like, "We were at school." And he would always ask, "Okay, what'd you fail today?" And the story goes that the kid grew up learning to always run to tell the grandpa what they failed at that day, and they were always so excited. And I feel like, true story or not, there's something to learn from the idea that failure should be strived for to a degree, because if you didn't fail that day, you didn't try anything new that day. You did the same thing you always do, and it may have been fun, it may be rewarding, and in some cases, failure can't be an option. Hostage negotiation, can't really take that difference there, but when you have the chance to fail during your game time, crank that difficulty up. Try something with a little bit of a handicap. Do things a little bit differently, so when you fail and you learn, when you take off the training weights and you put back on your good gear, or you turn that difficulty back down because you want to have a free day, you realize how much you've grown because of the time you took to do it the hard way and to have the fun. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a comment if you want. It's up to you. If this doesn't do well, it'll be a failure that I can learn from, hopefully. So thank you all. Peace.